Right now, we are joined by Lizzie Siegle, who is going to be speaking with us about LLMs with LangChain. Lizzie is a developer-centric sea shanty TikToker. I hope we're going to get a demo. I'm just saying. And what I love about Lizzie most of all is that her senior thesis was on developing applications to compare methods of teaching emotions to people on the autism spectrum. Lizzie enjoys using code to solve problems that she has personally seen. I deeply respect this, and I cannot wait to see what Lizzie has to share with us. Hopefully there's some sea shanties involved.
Unfortunately, there are no sea shanties today, but one day. Okay. So, welcome to Understanding LangChain Agents and Tools with Twilio, particularly SMS. I'm Lizzie. I'm a developer evangelist at Twilio, been there since 2017, and I like JavaScript and Python, which is handy for AI nowadays. But I am just like you. I'm not a machine learning developer. I'm just interested in machine learning and AI because there are so many tools, so many libraries, so many updates happening every day, including for this really cool library I'm excited to talk about, share with you today. I also want to share some memes. Is this AI to if statements? And no, not quite. So, order of operations, copying Kevin Winnery from earlier today, the agenda, introduction to LLMs or large language models. What is LangChain even? Let's wrap our brain around LangChain. Different modules in this library. There'll be some live code later on, which I am pretty nervous about. And there'll be some audience participation with text messages, because text messages are a way to provide input to the model, to provide the prompt to the model. Then we'll go over what's next. So I want to start off with this quote from Andrei Karpathy. I feel like I should have looked up how to pronounce that. He's a founding member and research scientist at OpenAI, and he was this director of AI at Tesla working on autopilot. Big guy. So what does this quote mean? The hottest new programming language is English. Well, at an AI conference a few weeks ago, I saw the creator of LangChain, the library we'll be learning today, answer a question. And someone asked, my model, the output is very inconsistent. How do I get better output? And the guy who built this library said, give it better input. Give it better prompting. And I think it's pretty cool that prompt engineering is like a new field. Like giving good prompts to your model is hard. And it's a skill that's important to software developers, AI developers, data engineers, marketers, salespeople. If you want to get better output from ChatGPT, give it a better prompt. So where does the prompt go? Where does the input go? Like our brain that's formed of a network of neurons, neural networks are based on connected nodes, technically known as artificial neurons. Their job to identify hidden correlations and patterns in raw data, classify them, and continuously improve. They're constantly relying on training data to get better, like humans. We take in the scene and we improve, we iterate. A large language model, or LLM, is a type of neural network, usually with billions of weights, which are the parameters that the network learns during training that determines the behavior of the model, trained using deep learning techniques on massive quantities of data, like web pages, like the web. And these models are capable of generating human-like text and performing various natural language processing, or NLP, tasks. So with the rise of LLMs, it's an exciting time to be a developer. I have been having more fun coding than I have in years. Just like so many libraries, so much you can build. And some of these LLM apps include chatbots, virtual assistants, and they can be used to automatically generate summaries and synopses of long documents, making it easier for people to digest complex information. You can also generate articles, blog posts, social media captions, and more. And by training the model on these vast amounts of data. These models can capture the style, the tone, and the structure of different genres and different people. So what is LangChain? At its core, LangChain is an open source framework. You can find it on GitHub. You can make your own pull requests built around LLMs so that you, as developers, can make LLM apps, such as chatbots, generative question answering, GQA, summarization, translation, and so much more. It provides abstractions for working with LLMs, along with a collection of implementations for each abstraction. Components are modular, so they're easy to use, and you can easily replace, say, different models, different parameters, which we will see in code soon. And I think it's really neat that the CEO of LangChain, Harrison Chase, who built it, he went to AI meetups in SF, and he talked to developers, software engineers, AI people, non-AI people, about their pain points when building. And he took their problems that he heard, and he wanted to fix them. So LangChain does make people's lives easier. And Python does have more support for LangChain, but the JavaScript library is pretty good, pretty robust compared to other options. So the core idea of LangChain is that we can chain together different components, different model calls, to create more advanced use cases around LLMs. Chains can consist of multiple components from several modules that we will go over. You can hard code your prompt as a string, or you can pass it a prompt template. Different LLMs, you can get them from OpenAI, Bloom, Cohere, different model companies that have models. We'll go over the difference between chains and agents, which are who decides what actions to take and in what order. And we will not dig into memory that much, but there is a memory functionality. Again, prompts are the input to the model and are often structured in different ways before presenting themselves to the model to get different results, different output. LangChain provides several classes and functions to make constructing and working with prompts easy. A template is a reproducible, predefined way to generate prompts. And they may include instructions, few-shot examples. So few-shot examples are like providing examples to the model of what you want the output to look like. And you can also provide specific context and even a summary of problems relevant to the given question, the given prompt. LangChain makes it easier to replace different models in your code via abstractions for working with LLMs. The LLM model is simply a wrapper around different models. It makes it simple for developers to communicate with different LLMs using a single interface, single API call, model call, without having to worry about the differences between models. What makes models different? Different parameters, determining how input is transformed into the desired output, accuracy, speed, scale, price. I think it's wild that OpenAI charges based on, I guess, like letters. For different languages, like German, that has more letters, you're gonna pay more if you're working in German. Anyways, and different companies have different missions. OpenAI is pretty lofty. They're like, we want to improve mankind. We want to create artificial general intelligence, which is like AI that's equal to or better than humans. Versus Cohere, I think, is something like, we want to help our customers, because capitalism. Okay, so chains in LangChain, which is where the name comes from, are wrappers around a series of single components, completing predetermined sequence of events. In a basic application, you probably would not need to use a chain, but we will see a simple chain soon. And chains do come in handy with more complex applications that involve multiple LLMs, multiple LLM calls. And the chain component provides a standard interface for interacting with models. There are different examples of chains. We'll be seeing an LLM chain soon. You can chat over a document or a PDF, and you can have that saved in history. You can have previous history. You can perform question and answering with different data sources, like a database, vector storage, and more. And API chains interface with third-party APIs. Woo. And you can think of an agent as an LLM that is set up to run iteratively with some goals or tasks defined by that model. the model is the one that determines what actions to take and in what order. Agents have complex workflows where the model essentially talks to itself without a human forcing itself into the interaction. There are action agents where at each time step, the agent decides on the next action based on the output from the previous action. This differs from plan and execute agents that decide on the full sequence of actions ahead of time, and they don't really care about the output at different steps. You would use different agents for different use cases. You can play around with the output in the agents. And agents also have access to tools in memory, because agents do not know everything, so you can use predefined tools that LangChain provides, or you can make your own custom tool. Feel free to talk to me after about how LLMs are not good at math, so there are a lot of math tools. Okay. So tools are functions that agents can use to perform utilities and tasks. You can search the web, calculator, math. You can write to a file, read from a file, and more, especially because OpenAI data was trained on data up to 2021. So Google search would be helpful to find out that the USWNT is out after this week, or like Taylor Swift's concert tours, because that is after 2021. And an executor is like an agent with a set of tools. It's like a running interface of an agent that is used to execute tasks based on the agent's decisions and configured tools. So let's dig into some code. You've seen me talk about it. Let's see it. Okay. Share this. VS Code is my preferred editor. Is this big enough? Okay. I've imported OpenAI after running npm install LangChain, and my API key is hidden, so you cannot use it, because that does add up. And I access it with .env. So first off, let's make our model OpenAI, and this takes in one parameter, temperature, which is actually optional. And temperature is, I guess, an integer from 0 to 1. Closer to 0 it is, the less creative the model is, the fewer risks the model takes. You can also think of it as creativity. So the closer the number is to 1, then the more risks the model will take, the more creative the output will be. Await model.call. And because we are in Seattle and I'm visiting, we're going to have a coffee theme. What is a good, if I can type, name for a coffee shop? This is a hard-coded string. Okay. And let's print that out. Name. Okay. Node.js. Brood Awakenings, Rise and Grind, Java Junction, Java Express, etc. Very fun. And again, with LangChain, it would be easy to replace OpenAI with a different model. From LangChain /LLM/Cohere. And then we would just replace OpenAI with Cohere. And this would change the output because it's a different model. Okay, beans and brews, Java joint, etc. Okay, let's stick with OpenAI for now. Okay, that is a hard-coded string. Let's use a prompt template from LangChain, and I do not know why it does not fully auto-complete. Maybe if I had autopilot, but I do not. So we're going to make a template. What is a good name for a type shop with a theme? Then prompt equals new prompt template. And this will take in our template and an input variables array. And this takes in type and theme. Let's say we want the name from P, naming things as heard, await prompt.format. We're going to pass it the values we want. So type, we're going to stick with coffee, theme, let's do sports, a sports-themed coffee shop. Log name from P. Okay. Now if we run that, we did not pass the prompt template into a chain or model yet, so it's just filling in the template with these types. Let's pass it to a chain. Import LLM chain and chains. Okay. We're going to make a new chain, and that's going to take in our model and prompt. Then we have to call it. Let's say name from chain. Await dot call. And we're going to do what all good programmers do. We'll just copy and paste code. Going to paste that in. And now we should get out a name using prompt templates. Okay. Brewball Cafe. Nice. Now we're going to try agents, and we're not going to use the prompt anymore because I want to show off tools. And we're going to use a good old calculator tool. Tools. And for some reason, you need to say calculator here. Wait, thought that would autocomplete, but I mistyped. Okay. And we're going to make our tools array. Tools. New calculator. Executor equals await, initialize. And we're going to pass it tools, model, and we're going to say agent type. Now this is, if you remember, few shot means you get passed in a few examples for what you want the output to look like from the model. Zero shot means no examples, no memory. We're going to make input, and this will be about math. So if I buy 3 lattes a week, and 1 latte costs $5, clearly not getting a lavender latte, how much do I spend on lattes in 1 week? How about a month? Then we have to call, let's say res, wait, executor, you pass it, input. Okay. I spent $15 a week and $60 a month on lattes. Woo, math. Let's say I want to know what is the best coffee in Seattle. Feel free to send your recommendations. I am here until tomorrow from San Francisco. But guess what? It's not going to tell me because there is no tool for it to search the web. So let's use that tool. Agent stopped due to max iterations, SERP API. I have a SERP API key hidden in my .env. And here's where I'm like, it doesn't ask me to say /SERP API, it's just /tools, which does differ from /calculator. And now if I search, if I run this, still getting an output from previous calls, forgot to comment those out. It should suggest the best coffee in Seattle. Feel free to dispute this. I do not know the best coffee in Seattle. Not sure why this is taking. Agent stopped to do max iterations. Oh, I forgot to add it to the tools. So do not know that it has access to this. Add it to the tools. Sports grind, cafe, sports themed coffee shop. You could also do like a Taylor Swift themed sports shop. Just went to her concert. She is also in Seattle recently. Cafe Allegro, according to reviews. Anyone? Good? Good. Okay. Back to slides. and I had code just in case it did not work. Wasn't sure about internet. Okay. Chains versus agents. I guess agents are like an unknown chain that depends on the user's input, and the model has more say in the steps being taken. Oops. And a chain, I guess, is more like infrastructure or tooling. An agent has tools. Okay. And now, if you want to get out your phones, you can text this number to see the code, or not to see the code, but to ask the model a question. That is 716-271-7716. And you can see I asked for good hiking trails and good coffee. Have my priorities straight. I feel like I was trying to stereotype Seattleites, but you have good taste. I like hiking and coffee as well. Okay. Put a text. There have sometimes been issues if too many people text in, so you might have to text multiple times. But woo, got a text. Okay. I do like SMS and email as a way to get user input to provide the prompts to the model. My former teammate Greg says that he likes email because he thinks it's more longer term for like saving something. I think that would probably be good to get the results of the model, but I do like text messaging for quick passing of input to an LLM. Okay, so why should you use LangChain? Like APIs, like Twilio, LangChain makes your life easier. It makes it easier to make apps around LLMs. LangChain allows you to connect LLMs to other sources of data. This is important because LLMs are trained on massive data sets of text and code, but they can only access the information that is stored in that data, such as data up to 2021. By connecting LLMs to other sources of data, you can give them more power, give them more access to more information. And this is all very new. Like LangChain, they push updates to their repo on GitHub like almost every day. There are new libraries every other week. There are AI meetups in SF every night. Like, we're all beginners, which I think is pretty cool because this is so new, all in this together. And there is a lot of community online and in person. So you're not alone. And community can be found in the MLOps community. I'll be posting a QR code to these slides afterwards with that link. I like communities on Medium and dev.to, which provide tutorials, such as the Towards Data Science Medium publication. And I do like those tutorials because I learned through tutorials more than the documentation. I do think that LangChain JavaScript documentation could be improved. Sometimes I search for something and I'm like, where is this error? And it takes some time to find it. And also because these are new errors. Like on Stack Overflow, you might not find someone who has the same error because this error just popped up last week because they shipped an update, it's new. But here are the docs, love docs. It is open source, so once I was all, oh, I don't know how to fix this bug, and my teammate Craig was like, Lizzie, it's open source, check the code. And then the code helped on GitHub that I was using. What's next? Have fun. Play around. Play with different models, different parameters. Compare different models. Rack up a bill on OpenAI versus Cohere versus Hugging Face. And there is a Twilio promo code for, so you can play around with text messages and phone calls and more. That is SeattleJS 23. And there are other libraries for JavaScript and AI. I like TensorFlow.js. They provide ready-made models, such as detecting objects, detecting poses, like body poses. And Synaptic.js, Brain.js. It is a growing ecosystem. There are courses popping up. This one is coming up soon. Not out yet, but soon. Seeing people take pictures. Yeah. Pictures. Waiting. And I feel like it's a new frontier. It's wild out there, just like so much happening. And I hope you have fun with AI and LangChain.js. And I can't wait to see what you build. I'm Lizzie Pika Online. That's my email. The code that I wrote is on GitHub, and the slides as well. Thank you.